found that point then where you were going to go?
I have. I am there. And desire has a lot of imaginative perversities in it. Desire grabs. Desire exploits. Desire has a sadistic, dominating quality. It's the lion in alchemy. It's sulfur. It's a very powerful thing, and then come new problems of how to tame desire. But we're not involved in that yet. We're just working from need through want to desire. But the fear of desire, I think, is one of the big problems of why you don't find purpose. The fear of desire. Because if it is a lion, if it is sulfur, if it is rage to live, it's frightening. And you don't feel you're up to it. It's consuming. Fire? Fire is an element of desire, yes. Now, can you recall moments of desire? Of the fullness of really desiring something. I remember the first time I went down to these Eranos meetings, you know, Robert, in 1964, and I went down to listen. And I sat there and listened. This is a place I've been well, I'll tell you the story. And during the night, I couldn't sleep. And I was up the whole night writing a long love letter, and I was absolutely on fire over my wanting to be in that Eranos place, that's where I should be. And all those people that I regarded as my masters, Korban, Sholem, and Karenyi, and Jung, and so on and so forth. But I was seized with incredible desire that lasted the whole night through. And 2 years later, out of the blue, because I just went down there to listen, 2 years later, out of the blue, the man who ran the place invited me to give a talk there. And then I gave for 15 different talks there and did most of my major writing in regard to that place. But the desire was met by fortune or destiny or whatever, but I was absolutely packed on fire with, and it came out of the blue. So it was very intimately connected that in the needs, and the needs and the wants and the desires were very closely connected. So you need to respect your needs. They are there. In there are seeds of other things.
How did that correlate to your purpose?
Well, I felt that was a purpose or my purpose. And that I was not doing it. I was blocked. I was just sitting there in the audience listening. But I didn't know that I didn't see. That was in the acorn again. I didn't, that the.
And you wrote a literal love letter
to a literal woman who was at a certain distance. Usually, the woman has to be at a certain distance. Well, I mean, love letters are for long distance, so that they're full of imagination. There's no reality to it. I mean, she's out walking her dog when she gets the letter, Yes.
When you say out of the blue, would that be like out of the water?
No, just...
Blue being sort of like water?
Well, anywhere. Out of the water, out of the air.
I know, but I mean like kind of... That sort of feeling to me is sort of like out of...
I think it's just happened. Yeah, out of the waters. Yes.
What about in the case where your little boy is frightened at this point?
Hello?
Right. Right. Little boy gets frightened at this point.
Oh, could you not hear me?
Well, that's a crucial place, and that's where you, as father,
See you.
see it can move into the mother then, and you say it's too much for you.
No.
Don't strain yourself.
I've been
But you, as
studying the
father,
archetype.
can find, teach that little boy how to adapt its
Is it about cleaning the
mad
kitchen?
desire.
No.
It's nurturing. It's ordering and nurturing. It's the same thing.
But it may take time.
I don't know if you heard the news recording, but I cleaned the kitchen yesterday.
What if your nature is
That's good, I got your
obsessively
video.
controlling, like Stefan's?
It's pretty important stuff. Kitchen so clean. Kitchen so
Or like
good.
mine. Or like mine. And what about the little boy? How does the boy feel then? Because like the tendency is
That's
to
pretty
control.
good, right?
And then
Super
the little boy
clean.
comes and you make an agreement and suddenly he senses the controlling part of your personality. Isn't that right, Stefan? What the fuck does he do then? I mean,
I woke
you
up
can't
this morning.
change that completely.
Like maybe 15 minutes ago.
But if you give
I
him
had
at
an
least
asthma attack.
somebody's a deal, make a deal. At least you
There's
can
kittens.
let him voice it.
Well, there's a cat.
And even if you're controlling, you
Oh,
do have
yeah.
a moment where you can hear it.
Forgot about kittens.
There are kittens galore.
Well, hear it because it's
Maybe
pretty
kittens.
powerful what he wants. And you know fucking well if you don't listen, you dry up into a Senex. I mean, he's the father of the man. He's your juice. Or he's the new crazy thing. Don't you feel that
So
even if
basically,
you're
there's the
controlling?
archetypes.
I mean, you got things to
the
do. For
Senex
Christ's sake,
and the
stop all this nonsense. I got things to do.
Doer?
But
Anyway, I don't know how you say that word
eventually,
right. But
and
it discusses
I think,
the differences between the childlike mind
I
and
say a
the
good
grown
woman.
adult
An ideal
responsible
woman
mind.
wants you to pay attention to it.
Hey.
Because what she
Do I
dislikes
have a
most usually
responsible
is your
adult
cynics. The dry crab.
I mean, you have to decide that for yourself. I don't know.
Well, you just said I had a child mind and an adult mind.
Coming out, he'll be frightened.
Well, balance in all
I'll
things.
say, well, I'll set a time for you, maybe 10 minutes after 4.
One
But
time,
if somebody is like possessed, and then that's why you have these people who are so possessed by certain archetypes, like they'll
I think the thing is to ask the little boy what
their
he's frightened of.
psychological state
That
is like
sounds assuming
overtaken
that he's
by
frightened of
an
control when he may not
archetypical
be.
image
He might be
that
frightened
they
of
relate
drivenness.
to, and then they
He might be
become
frightened of something completely different.
imbalanced with this image. Like it can breed all kinds of mental problems, like
also, in
narcissism
Wants
or
to be freed from the mother.
weakness,
I mean, freed from his
self-invoked
own
weakness
fears.
that isn't real.
And being kept back.
weakness. Weakness is a good name for a general problem, you know.
Well, you get people that
Sure, the part that says,
want to be baby.
take it easy, don't strain yourself.
I do.
And possibly the part that someone mentioned,
Maybe
concrete things.
maybe you have too much
There's
of
a
your mind state
concrete,
set on
literal
pure.
aspect to the
Or maybe
boy
not.
that
I'm still kind of
sometimes
reading
needs
about it. I haven't
satisfaction
even read the book.
also
But
before it can move to a level of want.
the concept
I
is
mean,
applicable to like
this comes
older
in around
men,
food
but
and
there's
issues
also
like
a
that.
female version,
Uh,
and it's also throughout life.
Little
Even
boy has
the
absolute
archetypes
taste
can
in his
can
desire.
overtake you, or you
And
might
certain
be
foods that may seem childish or that's
one
in the
over the
past,
other.
whatever, is sometimes exactly what he wants.
I think this last couple
And
of
places.
years, what I had been like kind of
Following him
possessed
to the place
with
where he wants
was
to be. To a
Where
certain,
he wants to
very
be.
to a certain
pure,
stoop, or a
purella is
certain
I think the
street, or a
feminine
certain
word,
yard.
mind state of having to
If
really
you read
reckon
Jung's
with.
autobiography, which I
I
recommend,
mean, from like
it's called
24,
Memories,
25,
Dreams,
26,
Reflections.
having to reckon with like
Several
letting
times in
go
his
of
life,
youth.
when he's stumped, he ends up doing
So I went
things
through a really
with
weird
what
phase,
would be
and
the
they
little
talk about
boy.
this in the book, but I
Plays in
haven't
the
read it all
sand,
yet.
he whittles
Of
wood,
not caring
he
about
gets all alone, he cooks.
like not caring about the things that
He
a
liked to
Cynex person would care
sit on
about
the
as much.
steps.
But at this point in my life,
Having
I'm
a
like
place
very
is very
Cynex.
important for meeting the little boy.
Like I'm trying to build my Cynex.
He may not want to talk to you driving in the car, which is the
I
time you
see.
set
It's
aside
like
for.
it's like
Yeah.
psychologically like growing up. I think intuitives
I've,
probably have a harder
I've-
time with
I've-
this.
Come to the end.
Because
Come to the
the
end of where
child
I wanted to come
archetype
to.
is driven by
Thank you, Doctor.
imagination. And so, especially when you think of your niece,
When's our
you can
next
think
hour? On
of
Thursday?
them being more on the pure side of it, probably, most likely, but having to kind of reckon with that and become
We got a few minutes
more,
left. Yes.
Sexy.
more sexy, yeah.
Very important.
The intensity of desire is.
Look, you can tell I'm an adult now. And I'm super
Yeah,
sexy.
but is your little boy afraid of that? Is afraid of that?
Yeah?
Yeah.
No,
I mean, all Cinex.
I'm talking about you, Eric.
Dude, all Cinex around here, Courtney. It's just like non-stop Cinex.
Cynic.
Cinex.
I'm about to order the book.
So
The book.
you don't know.
Okay, I have
you
like a
don't know
really
the
smart
extent of
friend
that
who told me
fire.
about this, and I'm
Be a
excited.
flash fire.
It's like
Okay, well.
next level past the Jungian concepts. It's a guy
See, if you start off
named
with,
Hillman
with an
who
anxiety about it,
is part of the Jungian Institute, and he
miss
took
what might
these
be
archetypes
there.
and differing
Whatever
ideas and
suicidal
expanded on them in a way that
fantasies, whatever
is
you got to at least
very
get close enough to see what they are.
deep-seated and abstract, but
Yes.
You can also trust the
practical
anxiety, the
in real
exact
life. You
nature
can
of the
see it
anxiety.
everywhere.
One of the old sayings is anxiety is in the other world,
You know what I'm saying?
which is to say it's
Yeah.
for the child.
I did.
anxiety is
I
about
got
fire,
Cinex
then
piled
you
around the
start-
house here.
You don't start with the big fire.
Just sitting here waiting to
Just
get
like
thrown or
the
something.
kid touching the stove. You start.
That's how
by
mature
something
I
that's just
am.
warm.
Okay.
And-
Like
and
a
I
pure
think
guy
you
would
can
be
take
somebody
Could
who
be correct. They used to say, the tarot card.
they're like possessed too much,
The
and
child
they're
is
not
in a
even
walled
conscious of
garden.
it, but they're possessed so
I think
much
he's
by
riding a horse, but in a
seeking
walled
out the
It's this
comfort
making of this
of the
garden.
mother
Protection is
archetype
has
in a
been
sense.
mentioned many
Yeah.
times.
They don't even know that they're not even aware of these occurring in their minds. That they will go from woman to woman to woman to woman,
Yeah.
Maybe someday you want to do that,
being
but perhaps not today.
overtaken by the possibility of receiving, like, they want like a mother.
More likely you play with rocks.
That makes
Follow
sense.
on the wall the garden.
This is just like
In
a
the blade,
theory.
the third one,
This
where
is
view
obviously
is
on a
number
scale,
3, which considers
but-
the man, the woman, and the child.
At the end of the relationship, if you can't overcome these sorts of mental states in their unconscious mind, they will tend to eventually view every
Well, I
woman
think
that
that what
they
happens with your own physical son
engage in
is determined
romantically
tremendously by
as
what
like a
your relation
horrible
to
person
your
trying to
own,
take away their freedom.
child. That's what I meant when I said that you can't stand the
Well, I don't-
weakness of the
I
kid
don't think
outside,
that-
or the liveliness of the kid outside, or the
That's good,
spontaneity.
then
So-
you're probably
and
pretty
you,
balanced.
knock him around, or try to
Both
bring
of them
him
have
under
their
control.
positives and negatives.
Because he's reflecting the inner child. But I think
Yeah.
we've
Like
we've
if
come
you
to
were
a-
overtaken by a
Stop.
cynic
Okay.
state of consciousness, you would not. I imagine somebody that's kind of like an
So,
INTJ.
You don't know. You don't.
I
know
love
the extent of
INTJs
that
though,
fire.
but like
It can be a flash
very,
fire,
like,
it can be a-
serious and very, very like,
But you see, if you start off
directional
with an
and
anxiety
serious.
about it, you
or even
miss
an
what might
ENTJ,
be
depending on how
whatever it is, suicidal fantasies,
playful they
fire
were.
fantasies, whatever you got to at least
I just started
get
getting into
close
this
enough
today,
to see what
so I'm
they
like
are.
kind of probably gonna dive into this a little bit deeper.
Yes.
You can also trust the anxiety, the exact nature of the anxiety.
This is
One
an
of the old
interesting
sayings
idea.
is anxiety is in the other world,
Yeah.
which is
So you don't
to say
think
it's
you
for
date
child.
a woman for a little
If the
while and
anxiety
then
is
she
about
doesn't
fire,
baby you enough,
then you start,
and you feel
you
like
don't
she's
start with the
taking
big
away,
fire. Just
or
like
trying
the
to
kid touching the
tie
stove.
you
You
down,
start
or
by something that's just
isn't it?
warm.
I haven't had
And
that
I think the container
experience.
could be correct. They used
I've
to say,
seen guys
the
that are like
tarot
that.
card
I know of a
of the
particular
child
guy
is in a
who
walled garden.
goes
I think
from
he's
woman to
riding a
woman,
horse, but in a walled garden. It's this making of this garden.
Well, protection is
and then
very,
it
been mentioned
ends
many
really
times.
badly with them, placing onto the woman in no practical realistic way that they were like trying to
Maybe someday you want to do that,
imprison them.
but perhaps not today.
Weird.
So the structure of the heart,
Well,
Oh well, I
is
just
suggesting
don't want to be tied down. Like
More
when the
likely
person
you
wasn't
play
even
with
tying
rocks.
them down. or something.
To follow on the wall the garden, in the blade, the
I don't feel any risk of being tied down.
number
I
3,
don't think anybody really wants
to
to
be
tie
the
me
man, the
down.
woman, and the child.
I like having visitors. You know?
Craig?
What about the relationship
Yeah.
between fathering your own physical
Yeah.
son and fathering
It's
your
better to
inner?
Well, I think that what happens with your own physical son is determined tremendously by what your relation to your own
you expect me to be your mom too
child.
much.
That's what I meant when I said that you
Expectations
can't
get in the way of
stand
shit, you know?
the weakness of the kid outside, or the liveliness of the kid outside, or the
Yeah,
spontaneity.
not like literally consciously
knock him
though.
around, or try to bring him under control.
So I was watching this other
Because
video about
he's
pure states
reflecting
of mind, and they were
the inner child.
discussing
But I think
kind of the
we've
social
come
justice
to
warrior
stop.
mind
Okay.
state of college students. So the Peter pansexual syndrome.
I don't know what that is.
Well, you know that it's kind of what we discuss in here a lot, like everyone placing their beliefs onto you for gender identity and what's racism, and they made a school ban Harambe jokes because they considered it influencing rape culture and racism. That's like a way out of whack level of like a pure state of mind. Or people who, this is a good example. Remember the Occupy Wall Street movement?
Yeah.
Okay, they were protesting on Wall Street. Well, a CEO of a company came out there and was like, the people that you are, he was like, why aren't you protesting to the government? The Wall Street people aren't the ones making the regulations. You're up here mad at rich people because they have more money than you. Just like really childlike states of mind without high levels of rationalizing like the actual real practical system that's going on. Like social justice warriors in a way, but social justice is necessary to a degree.
Social justice is necessary. Social justice warriors don't attain social justice. They attain something else.
Exactly. That is like a child. Like they don't know what they're doing. They're just angry and being kind of like a brat.
So when are you going to come visit me, Courtney, here in Los Angeles?
I don't know. I just bought my car yesterday.
You should totally come visit me.
Why?
Well, because, I don't know, maybe you want to earn a special shirt. I don't know. Lots of reasons to visit Host Eric. Host Eric is full of surprises, Courtney. You'd be surprised at all the wonderful fun times you can have with Host Eric. It's true. I live very close to Korean barbecue, Courtney. Very close. Okay.
No, I don't think I'm gonna come out there, Eric.
Okay.
Why do you want me to come visit you?
I don't know. You seem like a nice lady.
You've met me in real life.
I know. Well, okay, maybe I want to get on you. That's a good enough reason I want you to visit LA.
I don't really like it.
Well, that's okay. I like that answer. I like that answer a lot better than I don't want you to get on me.
What?
It's a much nicer answer.
Then what?
Then I don't want you to get on me.
Like sexually, Eric? No.
Courtney, I know. I'm telling you, if you come to LA, you're going to leave here with a special shirt.
Not because I performed something for you.
Huh?
Why are you being a weirdo to me? I don't like it.
I'm not being a weirdo to you. You're being a weirdo.
I don't need a special shirt.
Okay, well, then I guess you're not going to come out here and visit me. There's nothing weird about me wanting that to happen, though. What's weird is the notion that it would be considered weird. That's weird. But that's standard operating procedure in the world because people don't understand how to deal with each other honestly.
I mean, I feel like you're like a cool person to talk to sometimes, but I don't want to fly out to LA.
Well, I don't know. I figured I'd probably have to pay for the plane ticket myself. But regardless, It's not a good time for that right now anyway, because I'm just getting all kinds of this shit in the works. I gotta go to freaking Kentucky next month.
Why?
Stuff. Yeah, well, it's for work, you know. You gotta do work stuff sometimes, like everybody else. You know, I gotta do work stuff.
Yeah.
Which can be a little frustrating sometimes.
Yeah. I'm about to buy a kayak.
I don't mean to point out the obvious, Courtney, but you live in Oklahoma.
We have lots of lakes and rivers.
Really?
Yeah. There's more water line in Oklahoma than there is on the Gulf Coast, with all of our lakes and rivers and ponds combined. Why do you want me to come out there? I'm completely confused now.
It sounds fun. You come over here,
You
you
have a
stay with
crush
me for a couple of nights. What?
Why? No, Eric, why would I do that?
Because it's fun.
I mean, yeah, it was for fun, but Jay would not be happy if I did that.
Well, then you shouldn't come out here and do that. Because if you're going out with him, then I feel some sense of obligation to him, even though I don't really know him or anything. But
He's my
yeah,
boyfriend. I'm probably going to have a kid with him soon.
well, then you should definitely not come out here, Courtney.
Then why would you
Come
put
on,
me out there?
Courtney.
What is that?
Courtney, you are in a relationship. You need to stop trying to get on my dick, girl.
I mean, I don't really know you that well to just come out and hang out in LA.
Yeah, how well did you know me?
I don't know.
You know me pretty well.
When I finished the school, though, I wanted to take a travel assignment to California. They get paid 10 grand a month, plus food, plus rent,
For what?
plus car. Cath lab techs. I changed my life plan again. I'm not going into nursing now. I'm going into cardiovascular sonography.
Cool. You're working a heart surgery machine.
I want to go into medicine in some way.
That's a good gig. You know, as long as they keep using that machine, you're good.
Yep. They start out at about 70K here.
That's pretty damn good.
If you do travel assignments like that, I figured if I had a kid, I could take my kid with me until it was like in grade school, because I can educate my own children, but maybe not.
But they require a lot more effort than education, Courtney.
Yeah, they take them to the zoo.
Is that what you think parenting is? Take your kid to the zoo and teach them shit? It's mostly like, meh.
No, not my kid. Because I understand psychological conditioning at a pretty good level.
Uh-huh. Yeah, we'll see how that works out for you, Courtney. Wait till your kid pops out and you'll just be like, everything you thought you understood, you just goes right out the window.
Probably, yeah. Hopefully I have a good kid. I don't know I'm a bratty kid. Ugh.
All right, so who do you think I could convince to fly out and stay with me in Los Angeles for a couple of days? If not Courtney, then who should I aim for? Should I try to get Janelle out here to stay with me for a couple of days?
Who?
Janelle? I could maybe try to get her out here.
She has kids, so
I know she has kids.
take her kids.
Steal her kids. Sorry, Janelle. Now you have to come out here and sleep with me because I've stolen your children.
Was that what you were trying to do? Did you just ask me to come sleep with you?
No, I didn't ask you to come sleep with me. I said, when are you going to come visit me in Los Angeles, Courtney, where you will get slept with by Eric? Yes. That's what I said.
That's delusional.
Courtney, believe it or not, it's absolutely not delusional. Now, it may be not going to happen, but it's definitely not delusional.
I'm like really confused about like the environment right now.
I mean, I don't know what there's to be confused about. I'm a human being, a regular human being.
Then why don't you just get someone there to sleep with you?
I have 2 chicks here I'm sleeping with, but it's not.
Why the hell would you think that I would come visit you and sleep with you?
Why wouldn't you?
Why would you think I would?
Why would you think you wouldn't?
Because I don't understand what made you think that I would do that.
Why would you think I would default to anything else?
I mean, I guess you don't have any like actual platonic respect for me.
No, I do have respect for you. That's why I'm honest with you and treat you like a woman instead of like something else.
Well, I mean, I think you should ask people there to sleep with you
Courtney,
that are single.
last I checked, first of all, I didn't ask you to sleep with me. I suggested you come visit me in Los Angeles where you would end up sleeping with me. There's a difference.
I'm not easy to sleep with.
Okay. Courtney, I indicated to you that you should come out and visit me. And you said no because of a variety of reasons, whatever. That's fine.
I would not just to sleep with you.
That's Courtney. Courtney, listen to me.
I would never
All
sleep with you. I have a boyfriend. Everyone knows that.
Courtney, all those answers are fine. There's nothing wrong with not doing that, okay? But there is something wrong. There's definitely something wrong with thinking there's something wrong about being honest and upfront about being a human being. So, yeah, is that delusional to think that Courtney would come out here and hang out with Eric and have fun? No, not remotely. Is it something that's going to happen? No. Is it okay that I brought it up? It's preferable. It's called being an honest, actual human being. That's called treating you with respect. Respect, not lying to you. Not acting as though you were a child, right?
That's not what I'm thinking. I'm confused about if I gave you some kind of initiative to ask me that or something.
Courtney, I think it's perfectly reasonable for me to say that at this point, having interacted with you plenty, that it's acceptable and reasonable for me to say, oh, you should come visit me in Los Angeles. The fact that I would want to sleep with you when you're here is obvious and natural. Not to be something to be mad about, something to be accepted as obvious and natural and true. And good.
I'm not mad. I'm confused about.
Why are you confused? I have a penis. I want to put it in your vagina. Is that confusing to you?
I mean, no.
Okay. I'm pretty straightforward like that. I'm not that confusing.
But wouldn't you like rationalize that that's not what I would do?
Well, Courtney, if you were here, it is what you do, because I can be pretty goddamn charming.
Okay, Eric. Well,
I mean, I'm not evaluating this by thinking to myself, oh, is Courtney going to say yes or no? I'm not asking you anything. I'm saying,
no, but now you're making me feel like the way I understood our like talking to you is not how it is.
but Courtney, that's the thing. You want to create an artificial world that doesn't exist, where people, when they're having intellectual conversations, because they're not currently engaged in sexualized thinking or behavior, that therefore they're not sexual beings anymore. It's
I've never intending on any sexual implication here.
I agree with you. Neither am I. And yet I'm still a human being, right? I'm still a sexual being. And the fact that I would potentially want to have sex with you, you should consider very flattering. Okay? Not something to be weird or whatever. Not somehow our relationship has changed. No. It's called, I'm an adult. You're an adult. You know? That's what it's called, Courtney. It's called natural human interaction between adults. I'm not making you an offer. I'm not requesting anything of you. I'm talking to you like a human being instead of like a child.
Okay. Well, thanks for thinking I'm attractive.
You're welcome, Courtney. You're pretty hot.
I don't really associate myself like
Well, look, I mean, the weird thing is, I'm actually not even that shallow at all. Like, well, I mean, you know, I'm sure I can get on Liz, for example. I can probably get on Liz, no problem, but I don't want to get on Liz.
Okay.
Right? Why don't I? Because I don't like ENFJs. That's basically the bottom line. ENFJs bug me. ENFJs bug me. I don't know why. You know, it's like they just bug me because they're so ENFJ.
I don't think she's an ENFJ.
What do you think she is?
I don't know, but I don't think she's an ENFJ.
I mean,
I guess it's just that somebody told her she was an ENFJ because of behaviorism.
I could be convinced otherwise, but at the moment it's what I'm going on, and I've actually thought about it a fair amount because she asked me a bunch of questions about her type, and so, you know, I answered them best I could.
I mean, I don't really have enough data about anyone in here to like thoroughly, seriously, to take it serious on my judgments of them.
Well, Courtney, you don't need a lot of data to have serious judgments about people.
None of y'all think I'm INTP except the people that really know me in my life.
Well, you know, I've never really had a firm position on it, Courtney. I assumed you were for a long time. When perspectives started changing, I was like, well, maybe she's not, I don't know. You know, I don't give a fuck about that kind of stuff.
I was taking like a weird medicine that made me like kind of weird for a minute. To be honest.
Heroin? Yeah. It'll make you a little weird for a minute.
Cocaine. Just kidding.
You don't do any drugs, huh?
Not anymore.
So when you quit drinking, you quit drugs too?
Yep.
Some clean living you got there, Courtney.
I'm happy with it.
I'm glad. Alcohol's the devil. A lot of people have to.
I think it's bad for you.
What is?
I think it's bad for people.
Alcohol? Fuck yeah. Alcohol's a nightmare.
It turns people into like uncontrollable open book. It's like,
You know what would be super helpful if right now I made really bad decisions. That's what alcohol's like.
yeah.
I know I'm gonna make some really, really bad decisions I'm gonna regret. That'll be fun.
I didn't drink like a lot for the past like couple years. I was like drinking too much, so I just. But I think that's what I was talking about when I was telling you, like letting go of the pure state of mind. I think that's when I analyzed my own mental states and like the consciousness I was under during those periods of time. I think that's what I was doing. I think I needed that to happen. Otherwise, I would go through life wishing I had had certain experiences when I was younger that I didn't get to engage in.
Yeah,
And
I
now
think
that I've done that, I'm like, there's a clean slate of like motivation to become more of a mature woman.
Is that your way of telling me you want to come to Los Angeles, Courtney? You want to become more of a mature woman?
I'm talking about like some abstract shit.
Courtney, can we relax? Can you let me make a couple little jokes for Christ's sake? Not getting your
Okay.
panties in a bunch.
Problem I encounter all the time when I'm talking about a theory that is relatable to pretty much every human being, people think I'm talking about them.
I don't think you're talking about me. I was making a joke, Courtney. I obviously don't think your mature woman comment was indicative of the fact that you needed me to maturicize you with my penis, okay? It was a joke. Relax.
It's frustrating and gets me into all kinds of weird situations that I don't understand, like why I'm in them.
What isn't a weird situation, Courtney? To the extent that
This
it's
is a really weird situation.
to the extent that it's weird, that means that's an area where you need to get a little bit less childlike and a little bit more adult-like.
It's weird because I don't understand, like why. I don't understand, like
You don't understand what? You see, Courtney, when a man and a woman are grown-ups, a man has this thing
that is
called a
not what I mean.
Would you like further explanation?
No.
Okay. Oh, I have to go to the bathroom. Happens after you take Adderall, your stomach's just going all brr, brr, brr.
Light bulb? Light bulb in the house? What? Light bulb would not do that. Maybe. I don't know. Whatever they get.
I'm hopeful to meet up with the computer today. She got back in the country. She was in South America doing some sort of nursing shit. Like help the natives not have malaria or some shit like that. What?
I don't know who that is.
I'll explain to you right now. And it's been frustrating because I had just sort of set that shit up as something regular, and then she went and had a sudden trip out of the country, which was frustrating. But she's back in town, and I'm hopeful that she's going to contact me today. And we can go to lunch or something. She's an ISFP that is the sister of a friend's wife. And it's funny. I wanted to get on that chick for a long time, but it was never possible because I was with somebody or she was with somebody or whatever. But it's pretty cool that I can actually get on right now.
You should.
I have. I'm going to again, hopefully today, if I can. If she's back in country and is not too like jet lagged or whatever.
Good.
Yeah, she's ISFPs are interesting. They're very simple people. They don't talk with a lot of subtext or anything, They just sort of.
Who talks with a lot of subtext that you know?
What subtype?
Like what kind of subtext?
Subtext meaning like if an ISFP says something, she means exactly what she says. There's no like hidden meaning or extra reference points or shit like that intuitives typically engage in, that kind of stuff. So, for example, I might make a joke sometime in a group conversation that works on one level for one person who fully gets the joke because they were party to something that it references. But the joke might also work on a more basic level for people who weren't there for that event that I'm referencing. And that's an example of subtext is...
You do that a lot, but sometimes you don't do it and others think you are.
Right, well, that's part of the fun, too.
Yeah.
That's part of the fun, too, is that, I like to do shit that sounds subtextual is not. That's a fucking... That's just part of the intuitive nature, is to work that angle. But ISFPs don't work that angle at all. So, like, for example, I was doing...
They can't reach that level of, like, abstraction as easily.
Right.
It's not as natural, but if you point it out, they'll understand. But it's not going to be perceived that way, naturally speaking. I'm sure they'll catch it sometime.
Well, even if they understand it, there's a difference between understanding it and valuing it at all. So, like, when I was chatting her up a little bit, just sort of maintain shit so it doesn't fall apart kind of stuff, And she told me, oh, I can't talk to you right now. I have to go to sleep. That's a weird statement to an intuitive. You're gonna think, well, what the fuck does that mean? Well, the answer was, and I was able to be aware of this because I'm typing basically. I said to myself, Eric, what she literally means is she can't talk to me right now because she has to go to sleep because she has to get up early in the morning or something.
Yeah.
There's no subtext there. There's no, like, an FE intuitive would pad that. They'd say, I would love to stay up and chat with you right now, Eric, but I really got to go to bed because blah, 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 blah. To make sure that it's subtextually handled. But ISFPs, they just say what they actually mean, and that's it. And they're very...
Most of the time.
Say again?
Probably most of the time.
Probably most of the time what?
It sounds like you're equating it with like honesty.
Well, it's not honesty. It's just...
On a deeper level, it's like honesty.
Well, that's true if you favor FI as a sort of a authenticity measure.
I don't think FI DOMs, if FI intuitives don't do that because they value honesty. I was just thinking out loud, actually. I don't really even care.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, but you can misinterpret that shit too.
Well, yeah. I mean, there's no doubt that there's an advantage to an ISFP's ways, namely that they're very straightforward. They're very body-oriented. You know, she likes shit that makes her body feel good, you know? And she likes activities like, she was telling me, the sort of things that she'll tell me in conversation and shit like, I like sailing. I like going on the water. It's pretty when we go sailing. You know? It's not sort of thing that
Like sailing.
I know, but they don't all talk about it the same way. My point is not that she likes sailing. It's that her engagement with liking sailing is comprised of telling me she likes it and then describing how things look pretty under certain circumstances.
Mm.
Whereas if I like sailing, I might say, sailing represents the freedom of the ocean and blah, 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 and blah, 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 a bunch of other fucking bullshit, you know? She just says, I like sailing. It's pretty. It's kind of cool. It's refreshing to hang out with her. Oh, really? Tell me more about why you like sailing. Sailing's fun. It's nice when the wind is on me and I'm sailing. That does sound nice. She's kind of like super dumb, kind of, but in an adorable way. I'm not being mean.
I don't think of any types as dumb. I think they're all smart in their own way.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's wise of her to be able to enjoy the wind on her face, whereas you might not.
I agree. They're all smart in their own ways. Some of them are really smart at being dumb. Like ISFPs, for example.
I mean, I'm kind of like being like altruistic right now. Like that's not actually how I feel. Like I much more value intelligence than like stupid people.
I
just
don't
trying to,
value
like,
intelligence.
change your perspective and give you more of a positive one.
That's the thing is, when it comes to chicks, I don't necessarily value intelligence. I have lots of opportunity to talk to people about intelligent things around here. So I have no problem with a woman not being into that kind of stuff. And I'm happy to talk to her about whatever she wants to talk about. It's fine. She's in some kind of a nursing-ish kind of a program. And she talked to me about that and how hard it is to learn all this stuff. And I'll say, "You want another margarita, sweetie?" I have no problem buying her alcohol. I don't buy it for myself, but
Yeah. I was just thinking about intuitives doing the subtext thing more than censors. They do it more than censors.
a shitload more.
A shitload more.
It's our thing. It's our thiggity thing.
Why
I'm pretty
does
stoked when I think about it. I'm getting on Capio because Capio's super hot, and I always wanted to get on her. I can't believe I got on her last year, and then I'm getting on her again. But because her sister was like, "No, don't you get on my sister," and then she told me that the only reason Capio went out with me in the first place, like a year ago, or whenever, was because she felt bad for me. And Liz came over. She was all drunk, and basically just like emasculated the shit out of me, or attempted to. It was just kind of like, "You have no business trying to get on my sister," and I was like, and the thing is, if she hadn't done that, I probably wouldn't have successfully gotten on her. But once she did that, then it was like, oh, hell no. Hell no. So I worked that shit. No, I'm talking about ISFP. This chick Capia. Anyway, I like her. She's nice. She's sweet. But she's just a friend with benefits. She's not, I'm not going to settle down with her or anything.
Well, I hope you find the person you need.
I wouldn't mind ending up with INFP girl. That would be plausible. But that's complicated. So, probably end up just waiting for somebody else to come in. Scream significant other rather than hump buddy. Well, I mean, nothing wrong with hump buddy. Hump buddy is a good, trusting relationship. It's a healthy relationship in the sense that it requires both parties to be engaged in more trust, really, than a monogamous relationship does. Because you're really trusting the other person not to get weird,
I feel like my relationship is like sex and friendship. That's the way I like it.
Right. But, I mean, it really requires a lot of trust if you know you're not the only one.
On like a disease way, yeah.
No, I mean, if you know you're engaging in attending to your needs in that area without a monogamous relationship, then those kind of relationships require a lot of trust because
Wait, say that again?
if you know you're going to be engaging in a thing where you're getting your needs met by having a few different friends with benefits or something like that, right? Rather than a single monogamous relationship. If you are doing what I'm currently doing, pending a eventual settling down in a monogamous relationship, it requires a lot of trust for both parties because it means I'm not going to be putting pictures of us up on Facebook. I'm not going to be expecting shit from you, except that when we're together, we're enjoying our time together, and not any expectations beyond that, right?
You don't like the pictures on Facebook?
Well, yeah. When you don't put pictures you don't put relationshipy type pictures up on Facebook unless you're off the market.
I don't like any of my real private life on Facebook.
Well, I mean, a lot of people have that attitude too, but For me, if I'm in a relationship, like when I was married to Candace, obviously my Facebook pictures would include my wife and myself and my child a lot of times, and that's normal, right? Because you're considered part of that unit. But when you're in a situation like this, I'm not attached, like identity wise. I'm not linked to those individuals as part of their public identity. I'm part of their private lives because we're sleeping together.
Yeah.
And it's not a sort of relationship that I was capable of at all, even as recently as a couple months ago.
I think a legitimate monogamous relationship requires a lot of maturity, and the people have to be compatible in such a way that if they have disputes, both parties win in some way or another.
Well, I was in a pretty good,
You'll
but
have resentment. Resentment is a killer. Both people have to have a mature understanding of, they have to be more Cynics. They have to have a strong Cynics. Or build it together.
I mean, here's the thing, Courtney. My last marriage was, both parties were entirely faithful throughout the whole duration of our relationship. We were together for something like 14 years, and we're entirely monogamous with one another.
I'm listening still.
And it was a good, healthy relationship by and large. But I mean, that's one of the things I mean by adulthood. In the aftermath of the divorce, she and I can now enjoy each other's company in a much more healthy way than we ever could when we were married. We can enjoy each other physically still, and also know that we don't have any strings, no obligations or whatever. That I know she's got something else going on that's fairly, medium serious with this guy named Brantley. She talked to me about him. I'm happy to hear about it. The reason is because neither of us any longer feel as though the only viable means is the standard setup with basically codependency as a goal.
Yeah, that's a long time. Codependency as the goal.
I
Like
think
you realize now that you were codependent on each other?
basically that's what a good relationship is
Ew,
codependency. It doesn't necessarily manifest as pathological codependency, but that's what it is. It's saying, okay, good. I'm no longer alone fundamentally in my identity. I'm part of a partnership. And so
I think that's the destroyer of all relationships or of many relationships. Because then people start to have the fear that they can't be alone. That's a big theme I see. People have the fear that they can't be alone. They lose their own self-identity. Like they adapt their true nature into this like partial form to fit into a partnership that doesn't really mean you have to let go of your true nature. Like you have to be your true nature. If you adapt too far, you lose so much of yourself that it breaks down and both parties end up like going separate ways.
well, I mean,
I see what you're saying though. Like You
Think about
have
a
to have
tombstone.
emotional responsibility. You have to have, you are technically in control of another person's emotional state because they're now connected with you. And so, in a way, that's codependent, yeah.
Well, I was gonna say, think about a tombstone. You know, what do you put on the tombstone if you die right now? Well, when I was married, what would have been on the tombstone was saying something like husband, father, family man, blah 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 blah. I would have understood myself as being an identity defined by my various relationships. So I might define my professional relationships. I might say he was a husband, a father, and a coach, or something like that. I might go on my tombstone.
But a tombstone is just a reflection of your life in a way that's understandable by the world of very general concepts.
Okay, well, sure. I'm not saying that we're actually talking about a tombstone in the sense that you have to die for this to be meaningful. I'm saying if you conceive of one's, that we all have a self-conception and we understand ourselves as nodes of identity that work together to comprise a single whole.
Yes.
So I no longer have a node of identity called husband. And it was a fairly core identity to me when I had it. Now, I agree with you that in a healthy relationship, it's not literally codependent. It's that both people are liberated by this locking down of that corner of their identity such that they can become more free in optimizing the other aspects of themselves. The other party enables rather than suppresses the actualization of the individual components of a person if it's done right.
Sense. I get what you're saying. That makes sense, yeah.
But I agree with you too, 100%, that probably most relationships, it's not done right. And most relationships are more constraining than they are liberating. The thing is, part of the reason why I know
These are
this,
all archetypes, like husband, wife, father, the archetypes.
but it's not just an archetype.
Every human being has these concepts from the collective unconscious inside their own mind. It's an instinctual thing. And so when you say that, you kind of like put the keyhole in your mind and unlock that door into entering and becoming an archetype.
I don't
You
disagree.
understand that
with
archetype
that.
will vary, sort of, usually. It'll kind of like depend on the person's personality, the person's like upbringing, but on a general scale, it's the same.
I think you're right, but I'd point out that it's not just an archetype, that it's a way that you
You just said that it enables you to become your more optimized self. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
right, but I'm saying it's not just an archetype in the sense that you're right, you fulfill this sort of archetypal nature in the process of labeling yourself that, but additionally it's a pinner. It pins certain shit down so you don't have to think about it anymore.
I don't ever feel like I think about being a wife. You feel
Well,
like
you're
you
not
think
a
about
wife.
that stuff a lot?
You're not a wife. You're a girlfriend, maybe, or whatever it is you call yourself. You know?
Yeah, but I mean, even if I was to become a wife, I mean, that entails certain responsibilities, but that shouldn't mold your true identity through like social expectations from the world.
I agree with you, but it should enable your true identity by making it not necessary to think about certain things. So, for example, this
Yeah.
morning when you expressed discomfort or confusion, what that was your being accustomed to having that area of life pinned down so that you don't have to address it at all. And then there I come basically saying, I'm treating it as though it weren't pinned down for you. And that was disconcerting because you're accustomed to not having to think about that and having to be pinned down. My point out is that
I'm accustomed to men misinterpreting my friendliness as interest.
I wasn't reacting to anything you said, but I wasn't assuming you had any interest or friendliness or anything. I'm assuming all women are available to me.
But that's not the reality.
That's okay. It's the preferable assumption to operate from.
I mean, yeah, I suppose. But your plan is to keep all possibilities open regardless of the
I don't
implications
have a
of
plan.
the situation.
I don't have a plan. I was talking to Courtney, so I said, "Oh, Courtney, you should come out here and visit me in Los Angeles." Right? That's called plan-free living.
That's how I lived like my whole life pretty much. But not when it comes to like dealing with people.
I mean, I had to learn actual self-esteem first. I didn't used to have it really. I only had it in certain areas, and I didn't understand that myself, like every other human being, I have a fundamental human dignity, worth, and empowerment that I should feel free to swing around as I see fit.
Yeah.
And that to do so is to treat others with respect.
Yeah, I can see how you rationalize that.
Well, it's not a rationalization, it's an experience. I'm experiencing this. I'm not rationalizing. I don't need to rationalize anything.
Generally, if I feel like that I want to ask someone like something like that, I think it's good to be blunt and straightforward. Whenever I had the desire to do that, I would be sort of straightforward, yeah.
Right. I think one of the constraints that as a species we tend to impose upon ourselves is the constraint of distinct events in time. So lots of people view something like that as an event where I asked if Courtney wanted to come to Los Angeles and it's of note of some regard. I don't view it as an event. I view it as an ongoing process of making shit happen around me. And
But you're dominant.
I'm what?
But you're any dominant.
Right, and I'm socially dominant too. So it enables me to behave like this in general. It means I can I'm
Feel
safe.
like you feel like you shouldn't behave that way otherwise?
No, I feel it's safe for me to live right, which is to say to treat everyone as though they were autonomous beings, to respect their autonomy, to not limit them with assumptions regarding what they want. And so it's a matter of understanding that we're all in habits and ruts, and that every moment of life affords us all these rad opportunities to do weird shit.
That's true.
And God is my witness, for the rest of my time on this earth, now that I quit drinking, I'm going to do as much weird, cool shit as possible. Does that include flying people out from other parts of the country to sleep with me? Yes, it does. Does it include me going to flying to other parts of the country to sleep with people? Yes, it does. Does it involve me continuing my search for a long-term significant other in the interim? Yes, it does. And those aren't exclusive. Does it involve me respecting women by treating them as sexual beings instead of necessarily defaulting to, oh no, I wouldn't dare to impose any sort of notion like that on you. Yes, it does. It means I'm going to respect them. I'm going to respect them enough to say, you've got nice titties. That's respect. It's honesty.
Yeah. I don't know.
You seem to be doubting.
I don't know if that's respect. I mean, I know what you're saying. Yeah, rationally, yeah.
Well,
Depends on the woman.